What's up, guys? Today on Sports Center, we'll be going over a college football game preview, and this one's going to be over the 2019 Independence Bowl between Louisiana Tech and Miami. It should be an interesting one here. Of course, both teams had pretty bumpy Novembers, and of course, Miami's got absolutely no momentum whatsoever right now. But yeah, previous game for both these teams, Louisiana Tech beat UTSA 41-27, and Miami lost to Duke 17-27. Miami's on a 2-game losing streak right now. And we're going to go over that in a little bit. But yeah, some key stats from those games for Louisiana Tech. Smith was 25 for 35, 331 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That was an excellent game for him. But for Miami, on the other hand, Williams was 11 for 26, 142 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he's been a quarterback that's been good at times, but he's certainly been pretty inconsistent. Williams is going to need to come to play in this one. He's going to need to be motivated if this Miami team is going to go on to beat Louisiana Tech here in this one. Yeah, this game is going to be on Thursday, December 26th, day after Christmas, 4 p.m. Eastern Time in Shreveport, Louisiana. Spread currently says Miami by 6. The ESPN FPI is saying Miami 72%. And Vegas is also saying Miami, but by a score of 30-29. So that's a little bit surprising. I mean, you don't see a Vegas prediction that is that has 1 or 2 point margins. But Vegas is actually saying it's going to be very, very close, 30-29. For them. So of course all 3 sources are saying Miami in this one. I mean, that's not all that surprising. Miami certainly has much more talent in my opinion than Louisiana Tech does. But yeah, your stat comparison for this one, Louisiana Tech has 34 points per game. They've got 23 points allowed per game, 277 pass yards per game, 167 rush yards. Then as far as yards allowed, they've allowed 247 passing and 142 rushing. As for Miami, they've got 27.8 points per game, 20.8 points allowed, along with 257 pass yards per game, 121 rush yards per game, and also 197 yards allowed passing-wise, and then 109 yards rushing-wise. Records for both these teams, Louisiana Tech is 9-3, and then Miami is 6-6. So overall, looking at the stat comparison, I mean, Louisiana Tech seems to be a little bit better on offense, but then again, Louisiana Tech is not in near as difficult of a conference than Miami is, and of course, the ACC really is kind of down this year. But then again, I mean, it's something. But yeah, kind of looking at this as well. I mean, Miami is not a very big rushing team, that's for sure. They've only got 121 rush yards per game. They rely on Williams quite a bit, so Williams is going to need to really play well in this one, in my opinion. Yeah, for Louisiana Tech, they allow 142 rush yards per game, so they got a pretty good rushing defense, but Miami does too. They only allow 109 rush yards per game. But then again, you got to look at Louisiana Tech too. Are they a passing team or are they a rushing team? And they are more of a passing team, certainly, with 277 pass yards per game. So overall, I mean, Miami's bright spot on their defense is not really going to help all that much. But then again, I mean, they've got a pretty good passing defense as well. I mean, they held most of their opponents underneath 200 pass yards this entire season. So you got to remember that as well. Previous 5 games for both these teams, Louisiana Tech beat UTSA 41-27. They lost to UAB 14-20. Had a brutal loss against Marshall 10-31. Beat up North Texas though, pretty good win there, 52-17. Then beat UTEP 42-21. As for Miami, they lost to Duke 17-27. Lost to Florida International by 6, and that is an absolutely degrading loss. You cannot lose to Florida International. I mean, that's a team that I'm sure that Miami's rivals with. I mean, Florida International is just right down the street, and I'm sure that was a very degrading loss for this team, especially then you lose to Duke the next week, and that was a major factor going into this game's prediction, and I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, for Florida International, you cannot lose to that team. That's tough. But they had a pretty good game against Louisville. I don't know what happened, or I don't know how you somehow beat Louisville by over 20. And when Louisville's not all that bad of a team this year, and then you lose to Florida International by 6. I have no idea how that works. And then, yeah, Florida International lost today to Arkansas State as well. Pretty interesting. Yeah, Miami, they beat Florida State 27-10. Then they beat Pittsburgh 16-12 here as well. Some key stats in this one, or some key points. Miami is clearly the better team. I mean, they got much more talent. But Louisiana Tech, in my opinion, is going to be much more motivated in this one. I mean, you're facing Miami, which is a pretty big-name Power 5 conference team. They haven't really been as good in the past decade. They've had a couple of good years, but really, I mean, then again, for Louisiana Tech, they're going to be very, very motivated in this one. So it's either motivation or talent in this one. And it's really tough to predict. But yeah, both teams did have bumpy Novembers. You got to remember that Louisiana Tech did lose to Marshall by 3 touchdowns. But Miami, have they hit a new low? I mean, that's another question you got to ask. I mean, Miami's had a couple of rough years now, and after having a really good year, I think it was 2017 that they played really, really well, and they're ranked like number 2 at one point. I think it was either 2016 or 2017. I can't remember for sure. But yeah, I mean, Miami, I'm very surprised that they've gotten it to such a low point as they have this season. But yeah, how impactful is this game? This game is extremely important for both these teams. Louisiana Tech, in my opinion, if you win this one, I mean, that caps off a really excellent season for this team. But for Miami, on the other hand, if you lose this game, this could be very impactful to Miami for years to come, in my opinion. I mean, you're going into the offseason, and you're not going to have motivation worth a crap, in my opinion. I mean, after losing to Florida International, you lose to Duke then the next week, and then you lose to Louisiana Tech in the Independence Bowl a couple weeks later. If you lose this one, I think Miami's going to be in a very, very tough spot going into the 2020 season, and I'd be certainly concerned for them if they lost this game. But yeah, how would each team win, though? Nonetheless, I think if Louisiana Tech gets up early, this game could easily be sold to them, in my opinion. I mean, this Miami, they're going to be, I think they're going to be pretty unmotivated in this one. And Miami also has not been very good in bowl games. You can't forget about that. I saw a stat, they lost like 8 of their last 9 bowl games or something like that. And this is a really, really important one, in my opinion. You're going to have to come out and you're going to have to play well. If Miami gets out fast, I think that could be great for them. That would definitely give Miami an advantage. And I think Miami would definitely have a chance if they can go out and they can get a good lead right off the bat. But yeah, once again, I mean, Louisiana Tech is going to be my favorite for this one. Call me crazy. I'm ready for your hate. Put it all down in the comments below if you're a Miami fan. I'm ready for it. Dislike this video. Whatever, go ahead. But yeah, Louisiana Tech is winning this one. 21-10 is going to be your halftime score, and your final score 38-24. And I'm a big believer in Louisiana Tech here. I mean, I think Louisiana Tech, they're going to have a lot of motivation here coming into this one. Once again, Miami is a pretty big name Power 5 conference team, and they're going to be motivated. They're going to want to win this. For Miami, they are not going to have much motivation. Let's just be real with that. I do not think that Miami's going to be all that motivated in this game, and that's going to be one of the key factors. I mean, after losing to Florida International and also to Duke a week later, it's going to be tough for Miami, in my opinion. And I mean, if you come into this game with a good mindset, by all means, like, Miami does definitely have a chance. They've got the talent to do so, but then again, it'll be interesting. It'll certainly be an interesting game. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comments below in the comments, and just let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Let me know your score predictions as well, and I'm excited to hear you guys' thoughts on this game as well. I mean, this was a tough one to predict for sure, and I think if Louisiana Tech wins, I would not be surprised to see it in a blowout fashion. But I think if Miami wins, I don't see it being much of a blowout towards Miami's side. But yeah, if I get it wrong, be sure to call me out on it in the comments below. But yeah, I do think, though, that Louisiana Tech gets the win in this one. Pretty crazy prediction. One of the more crazier ones I've done this season, that's for sure. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching once again. Stay tuned for more bowl previews coming up over the next couple weeks, and I will see you all later.